Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making some lemon bars. This is a wonderful recipe and my cousin Roger shared it with me. I think he found it in a magazine and he tweaked it to make it his own, and so he shared it and I have come to love it, and I'm going to share it with you, and I hope that you'll love it. I hope that you'll go ahead and share this with your friends. If you don't care for lemon squares, I bet they do, but I bet you love them too. So let's get started. First of all, I want to tell you about my lemons. My friend Jackie, who was in our garden club, she texted me and asked me if I could use some lemons. And I said, of course I can use some lemons. I would love to make a video for my friends, my Facebook friends, and I'll do some lemon squares, and I may do a lemon pie, and there are lots of other things that you can do with lemons. So these are beautiful, beautiful lemons, and thank you, Jackie, for sharing them with me, and in turn sharing with my Facebook friends. So let's get started, and I'll tell you what it takes to make the lemon bars. The first thing that I want to tell you is that it's divided into two parts. There's a crust, and then there's a filling. We're going to bake this in the oven on 325, and we're going to lower our rack to the middle. You don't want it to be high, you want it to be in the middle of the oven. 325 is what we're preheating our oven to. So think of this in terms of dividing this right down the center, and I'll tell you what we've got in the crust, and then I'll tell you what it takes to make the filling. The first thing that it takes to make the crust is 1 cup of sifted all-purpose flour, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup confectioner's sugar, 1/2 cup confectioner's sugar, and 1 stick of butter, and that is the crust. And then to make the filling, it takes 6 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I'm going to be using these fresh lemons that Jackie gave us. And it takes 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this grater that I have here, and I'm going to zest or make the zest using this grater with the rind of the lemon before I cut the lemon and squeeze it. So that's how I'm going to get my lemon zest. 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. We're going to be using 2 eggs, 2 large eggs, 3/4 cup sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and that's the filling. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. So let's get started and let's make this crust, get it in the oven, get it done, then we'll make our filling, put it back in the oven, and we'll have some wonderful, delicious lemon bars. The first thing that we're going to do is to prepare our baking dish. Now you could use a baking pan if you'd like to, but today I'm using a 9x9 glass baking dish. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to spray the dish with a vegetable spray. The next thing that I'm going to do is to place a piece of foil, heavy duty foil. This is 8x16, and I have cut this to fit in the baking dish. Now there's a purpose for this, and I'll show you what that purpose is as we go along. So I'm just going to put it down in the baking dish, pressing it up on the sides, and folding it over. This makes little handles that we'll be using to pull our lemon bars out of the pan once they get done. So we have that. Now we're going to lightly spray the foil. And our baking dish is ready. So I'm just going to set that aside. Next, we're going to make our crust, and we're going to start out with 1 cup of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm adding 1/2 cup confectioner's sugar. And to that, I'm adding 1/8 teaspoon salt. And I'll just mix that around, mixing all of our dry ingredients together. Now I'm going to add our butter. I melted this and I've let it cool a little bit. You don't want it to be hot. So we're going to add 1/2 cup, which is 1 stick of butter. 1/2 cup of butter. And we're just going to mix this around, forming our crust. This will look like cookie dough when we get it mixed. So we just are incorporating all of the dry ingredients with the butter. Getting it all mixed in from the edges. You'll need all of this. You'll see some little lumps in it, which is the sugar and the flour, and you want to press down on that and make sure that you get all the lumps out before you put it in your baking dish. So I'm just working this a little bit, working it around, getting the lumps out. And you can tell that as I'm working it, that it's getting a little stiffer, like cookie dough. Okay, so now there's our crust. We're ready to put it in our baking dish. I'm going to just spoon this in the baking dish, and then we're going to spread it out. Using my spatula, just spreading it out evenly. This is so quick. It's so easy, simple. It's delightful, it's tasteful, it's delicious. It's just so good. I am really happy to have this recipe, and I'm very pleased also to share it with you. Now, I'm going to show you another little trick or little tip. To make that a little bit flatter, which it's fine like it is, but in working with your dough and when you have crust like this for other recipes, if you'll take just a little measuring cup and go ahead and press it one time on your dough and get a little oil on there. And then I've got a little extra flour here, and I'm just going to use that, this little measuring cup, to flatten it out and to make it a little tighter on the bottom of the pan or the baking dish, so that when we go to cut it, it cuts easier and more smoothly. Just going to turn that around, dip it in the flour, and pat. And there you go. Our crust is ready to go in the oven. I've preheated the oven to 325. I'm going to bake it for 20 minutes, and then I'll check it. And we want it to start browning to somewhat of a golden brown, but we do not want it to be dark brown. We want it just to get done, and then we'll take it out, and in the meantime we'll make our filling and pour on top of it and finish our lemon bars. So I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'll see you in a minute. Now we're going to make our filling for our lemon bars. We're starting out with 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 3/4 cup white granulated sugar. To that, I'm adding 1 1/2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of finely grated lemon zest. And I'm going to just mix our dry ingredients together, mixing the lemon zest in. Oh, that smells so good. I love the flavor and the smell of lemon. So I'm just mixing the dry ingredients together. And to this, I'm going to add 2 large eggs. I've already cracked these, making sure that we don't have any shell in it. And last, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm going to take a whisk and mix this together, making sure all of the sugar, the flour, and the lemon zest is mixed really well with the liquids, the eggs and the lemon juice. Okay, now our crust is out of the oven. I've just taken it out, and I did have to cook it or bake it 10 minutes longer. I had it on 325, and it's just a golden pale or a pale golden, maybe that's it. So here's our crust, and it's still hot, and I'm going to pour our filling on top of the crust. Using a spatula to get it all out. Now, I'm going to place this back in the oven and cook it until it's firm, until it's set and it's firm. And it'll be probably about 20 minutes, but I'll try to remember to let you know exactly how long I cooked it once I take it out of the oven. But we want it to just set and get firm. And then we'll come back and we'll take it out, we'll put it on a cooling rack, we'll let it cool. We're going to dust it with some confectioner's sugar, we're going to cut it, and then we're going to eat some. So I'll see you in just a minute. I'm going back in the oven with this with our lemon bars, and let our filling cook. See you in a minute. Our lemon bars are all set and they're ready to cool. And so I'm going to take this little spatula that I have here, and I'm just going to press around the edge just to make sure that it doesn't stick on these sides here. And there the aluminum foil comes up far enough that I don't need to do that. So remember these little extenders that we have here? Remember, that was for a purpose, and that's to help us lift it out of our baking dish. Now this is really, really hot, so I'm going to very carefully just lift this up, and I'm going to pull it as I lift it out, and I'm going to put it on the cooling rack. Now, I think I will take this and just kind of work that down like that. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to let this cool. That one broke, didn't it? It's really, really hot. It probably would help if I just let it sit for probably 5 or 10 minutes before I even take it out of the baking dish to put on the cooling rack. So I'm going to let it cool. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to dust it with some confectioner's sugar that I have here in this little tea strainer that I use, and I'm just going to shake it on top of the lemon bars. So we'll put some confectioner's sugar on it, which will make it even more delicious and also pretty. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, our lemon bars are cool, and I have transferred them off of the cooling rack onto this solid cutting board. And next, I'm going to dust our lemon bars with some confectioner's sugar. And we'll set that aside. Now we're going to cut them. I'm going to just cut right through here like this. I think I'll make about 4 And I never get mine even. Maybe if I just took a measuring stick or a little ruler and measured, and I'm just going to cut maybe three times through here. I'm going to make some big squares. You can make our bars. These are turning out to be kind of square, aren't they? So you can call them lemon bars or you can call them lemon squares. So now we're ready to plate our lemon bars. Just going to take this little plate right here. I'm going to just lift them off. See, they come off so easily off of this foil because it was sprayed, and you can just lift them off and plate them. And this is one of those foods that you want to cook in the kitchen and serve in the dining room, because when I'm cooking, sometimes I'll wonder, oh my goodness, is that going to be pretty? And I like for my foods to be pretty. So, and sometimes when they're in the process of cooking, we don't know how they're going to turn out or how they're going to look. So you can just continue like that. And also, you can decorate your foods or decorate your trays if you want to. Let's see, I'm going to put this one right there. And I'm not going to put this one on there. I'm going to eat that one. That one was the one that broke off on the side. So now you could just place a little flower on there like that. And there you have it. You have lemon bars, and they're going to be so delicious. I'll see you again in just a second. Okay, friends, here are our beautiful lemon bars. I hope you'll try this recipe because you will not be disappointed. I'm going to set this down right here, and I'm going to grab that one that I broke off a little piece, and I'm going to taste it. I told you I was going to eat it, and I am. That is so good. Doug says that these are addictive. Hope you'll try them soon, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Don't forget to share our recipe.